Church family, welcome to my semi-messy office this week. I am giving you a video update because I have a building update. Wanted to give it to you over video. And so here's what it is. Main news is this. The contract is signed. So that's exciting. Building contract has been signed as of this week on Tuesday morning. Met and got signatures on that thing. The contract currently states we are set to close on the new building no later than February 8th. Depending on how final inspections go and title work and all the legal stuff, we could close earlier than February the 8th, but the contract currently states the 8th of February is the final day to pass on the keys and finish everything. So that's exciting. Pretty cool place to be in right now. And part of why I wanted to do this weekly update via video is to give you just a sense of the season we're in right now as a church. What this looks like for us moving into a building and just helping you understand where we are, just to be transparent and clear and just to give you a sense of bringing us all along as a church family to wisely walk this road. So the Lord willing that everything goes through and we close on this and we have this building, we're going to go into a season of some time and labor and financial investment to move in this building. And so a cool win that I wanted to tell you about is this last Sunday we started Gospel Community signups, as you know. And one of the groups you could sign up for was a construction demolition team, and it's basically a service team to help us get this building ready. On the very first Sunday, there were 23 people who signed up for that. So that's exciting. There's a lot of people in our church that are excited to be a part of getting this building ready, doing some work on it, holding a sledgehammer for a bit, busting some stuff up, and doing some construction to build it back up the way it needs to be. There's a lot of folks in our church who have trades. They work trades, or just based on skills and abilities, they can do some really cool things. One of the folks in our church, one of the families, Calvin and Brenda Cedarberg, they own 2 dogs, concrete, and so they're going to be doing concrete work on the floors, getting the carpet out, all that old tile, and just doing like a cool stained concrete all throughout the building. A lot of things we're talking about, things we're lining up and setting up to get this space ready. Here's the reality. This building, it is between 4,500 and 5,000 square feet is the size of this building. It's big enough to hold our church family. It can seat 140 to 150 in the auditorium is what we're looking at. But the space is not so big that we can just renovate a piece of it and then move in and then finish renovating the rest of it. Before we move in, we need to have the whole space ready. Auditorium ready, kids space ready, bathrooms ready, kitchen ready. All that stuff needs to be lined out, stage built, sound area finished, all those things. So the season of investing time and labor is going to be involved in us getting this ready for us to move in. Now here's the financial investment piece. The bank is requiring a 30% down payment. And by God's grace, us being mobile the last 3.5 years, we're in a financial position to make a solid down payment on this building. We're buying this property at 76% of the appraised market value. So that's exciting. We're buying it at a good price, and we're able to put a solid down payment on the building. Other financial investment, obviously there's the renovations. Those renovations are going to cost money to get the building ready. Things we'll be doing, like I mentioned, concrete floors, redoing some of the kitchen, paint everywhere. We're taking the drop-down ceilings out of the auditorium to bring it up, painting all the ceiling black, new lighting, new stage, just a lot of things just to get this space ready that we can move in and fully use it right off the bat. Other thing, while this space is being renovated and prepared, we're going to still be at North High. So we're paying rent at North High on top of the mortgage payment, utilities, and insurance on the new building. Some of you already know this. I don't know if I've shared it several Sundays. Maybe everyone hasn't heard this, but here's some interesting news. The cost of rent at North High is more than it's going to be to pay a mortgage, utilities, and insurance on the building. So we're going from renting a space that we only get 6 hours a week to owning a space that we have 24/7 access to, and the cost will be less. That's exciting. That's a good position to be in. But until we move in, we're talking about paying rent as well as carrying the mortgage and utilities as we get this building ready. Also, part of buying this property is it's on a good chunk of land. There's room for us to expand out here. One of the things we'll have to do earlier than later is expanding the parking. The current parking lot holds about 60 spaces plus another 3 or 4 handicap spaces, though there is lots of room in the grass around the parking lot and in the driveway coming up to park other cars, so we can get certainly more than 60 cars in there. But it's probably wise as a short-term goal to be able to extend that parking a little further and just have some extra spaces for folks to park. The longer-term goal, and we'll leave this in God's hands on how this is. Maybe this ends up being a short-term thing depending on what God does as we move in here and who we reach in the community and who this speaks to in our city. But to be able to build an auditorium, break ground, build an auditorium. The new auditorium is the space for our church to meet. This current building would become just pure youth. It would be kids area on Sunday morning and youth stuff throughout the week. So initially, for our church to grow and to reach the community, I don't know why you wouldn't want to do that. That's what we do as a church. We glorify God and His Son Jesus by sharing the gospel and growing the church. For us to grow, we will at some point have to move to 2 services. Like I said, this auditorium will seat 140 to 150. We will get to a place where it's going to make sense to break into 2 services. When, I don't know. But it's going to happen in this building. But the goal is to break into 2 services, to grow, to plan wisely, to break ground and build the new auditorium, and then to all come together in 1 service as a church. So we meet in 1 service of the auditorium, and the existing building is the kids' space. That is the plan, the long-term vision. So what I just listed were 4 major financial commitments: the down payment, the renovations that we have to do, the parking, of wanting to extend the parking at some point, and the double paying of the rent and the piece until we move in. I'm not exactly sure how it's all going to come out, but running the numbers and looking at it, I think it's reasonable for us to say that this will be a season of spending roughly $80,000 between those 4 things, maybe more. Currently, by God's grace, our account stands at something like $148,000. So, assuming all this goes through, we get the keys, we start doing work on this, we're going to spend $80,000, give or take, to get this all going to move into this space. Okay? So in light of the season we're in, where we're at, what we're looking at, we praise God that we have the capability to do this. He's given us these resources. This is His kingdom. But we're in this season. This is what we're looking at. I want to instruct you, help you, guide you, and just give a sense of what I want you to think about and pray about and plan for. We're at the beginning of the year. It's January. A lot of you are working on your budgets or have worked on them, but it's the start of the year, so you have an opportunity to think about where you want to make your commitments, what you want to do financially for this year. There are 4 words I want to share with you just to guide you, 4 words for you to think about and pray about as it relates to giving, as it relates to stewardship of what God has given you in this season of our church. And here's the 4 words. I want to encourage us, all of us, as a church family, to give in these 4 ways: to give faithfully, to give generously, to give regularly, and to give sacrificially. Faithfully, generously, regularly, sacrificially. There are many of you who I think are currently giving on all those categories. So please hear me saying, I want to encourage you. This is not a chiding session by any means. This is an encouragement for this season of the church. You know, we're going from a world, we've been mobile, and it's sort of been a year-to-year thing. We sign our yearly lease or contract. We're in this mobile space, and we're just doing this annual planning. But you move into a building, and things change. You're now in a community. You have a more clearly defined mission. This is who we are, this is where we are, and suddenly you can start making 3-year plans and 5-year plans and 10-year plans. But all that is predicated on us as a church family having this real sense of ownership. This is where God has placed us. This is who we are. This is what He's calling us to do. And a realistic piece of that is as we steward what God has given us, that we give to the kingdom in ways that are faithful and generous and regular and sacrificial. So don't let this be a burden. Pray about this. If you're married, talk to your spouse about this. If you're not married, spend time with a friend maybe. Spend time just really applying this, wrestling through this. I want this to be something where we really, in a very godly way and in a wise way, for us to commit ourselves to see this work done and to see it done wisely. So that's the building update stuff. If you have questions or something that just comes up, something that you have a question about, please send that in. You can reply to this email. Sean or I will try to answer that in a timely manner to get back to you. As far as ideas for what to do with the building, we have invited some people into the conversation to help us process some of this. We would love your ideas. At the same time, please be patient. Please be graceful, understanding that lots of people are sharing ideas. And so it becomes one of those things where you want to invite people into the discussion. You want everyone to be involved. At the same time, you're also fighting that other side to not have too many cooks in the kitchen, right? To have some sense of wisdom and clarity and simplicity as you're making sense of it. But please feel free to share, ask, be a part of this in any way you want to be, and just be graceful and patient with us as we try to sort through the wisest way to walk. So let me just give you a few other things regarding this weekly update that I can just give over the video right now. Team 3 is serving this Sunday. You'll see that in the email. The women's retreat is coming up on Saturday, January 23rd. I'm excited about that. Elise James and Christina Vasquez have worked hard to put that together. If you are a mom with young kids and you need help figuring out babysitting for that day, daycare for that day, I, for one, will be opening up my basement to watch my boys. I'm going to invite some other dads to bring their boys over. And then if there are any moms who can't get to this unless they have some help, I want to invite you to bring your kids over to my house, and we'll hang out with them and spend time with them and do all the stuff that dads will do as we hang out with kids, and you moms and women just go hang out at the women's retreat. I think there's 15 to 20 women signed up right now. I really encourage you to sign up if you haven't. It's $15. You can pay through PayPal on the Seed website at the Give tab, or you can drop it off in an offering box on Sunday morning. If you are a dad, I just encourage you to make this easy for your wife to go to this. Make time on that Saturday to watch your kids, to do what you got to do, just to release her. We've had a men's retreat every year since we planted the church. This is the first organized, planned women's retreat, and I really want anyone who wants to be involved to be able to make that happen. If you have any questions about that, you can reply to this. You can also get in contact with Elise or Christina, and they can help guide you in terms of answering questions. Gospel community signups began last Sunday. They will go forward again this Sunday. Gospel communities will start the first week of February. And that's it. Boom, got through my list. So thanks for listening. I hope this has been helpful. Hope this has given you some direction. Just want to be transparent. I hear Sean coming over here. He's going to miss the update if he doesn't get in here right now and show his Zoolander face. So church family, love you. I'm excited about what God is doing. We're just going to trust Him. walk this day by day, see how this goes, and just try to wisely be a church for His glory in our city. All right, we'll see you soon.